Okay, so the machines, what I call the machines, I just learned are actually fermenters. Katie, can you tell us what we're standing in front of?
Okay, so this is an American-style brew house. It's not terribly different from a French or German or any other, but ours is actually from the U.S. It's from North Carolina. These right behind us are the fermenters. So after the beer goes through the entire process, like the boil, the wort, all of that, they live in these containers for a few weeks while they ferment.
Ah, cool. Okay. And can you tell us about your beers? I see you have some of the bottles here. And I just want to point out something really cool. The name of the brewery is Art is an Ale, because it is an art to make beer, but it is also, absolutely, but it's all artisanal, because tell us about the products you're using. They're artisanal, natural products from local French providers, right?
They are. So in our 4 core beers, we use only French ingredients, which is kind of interesting, especially for people coming to visit us from the US or even the UK, because a lot of the beers that are really popular right now they use some really common hop profiles like Chinook and Cascade and Mosaic, and those are not typically grown in France. Some of them can be grown here, but there's not a ton of them. So the hops and the malts that we use are from France. So some of your favorite beers will have a unique and different twist, because in the US they're not using those raw materials.
Fabulous. So it's a real marriage, like your own, between France and the United States, using French local products with this sort of American savoir-faire or beer making. So that's so cool. We have the brewery here, the fermenters here, and on the other side there's a huge space for where we can do tastings at a restaurant. Tell us more about what you offer to visitors.
So our brewery is a lot like an American-style brewery. Like, you can see all of this just seated in the bar, just like you would in the United States. During the summer, we've been lucky enough that we were given a terrace space, so more than likely we will also have that this summer, so you can sit outside as well.
A beer garden.
A beer garden, exactly, beer garden. And in addition to beer, it was really important to us to do local food, because we wanted people to be able to enjoy the local cuisine at the same time as pair it with like the perfect beer. So you can get charcuterie and local cheese and other delicacies, like even things like fish terrines, which is kind of like a fish pate fished right out of the Loire.
Yeah.
And enjoy an awesome beer that goes with it, and we'll tell you which things go with which.
Perfect. So we are now up on a very high platform close to the fermenters. Katie, can you tell me what are we looking at? What are we seeing here?
So this is the brewing platform. This is where my husband, the brewer, comes and mans all of the brewing whatnot. This is his brewing station behind me back here. This is where the beer gets made.
Wow. And I laughed. I said, it's big enough for a body in there. And she said, well, sometimes he does have to get in there. How come?
Sometimes when we need to clean something, or sometimes things just don't go exactly as planned and you have to climb in and tweak something or repair something. Yep. Wow. People climb all the way in.
Very cool. So now we're beneath the fermenters. Can you tell me, Katie, what is this? What we're looking at?
Yeah, so actually this entire brew house was custom built for us, and this is actually 2 vessels kind of stacked on top of each other. And on the top is where there's the rake for the grain after it's been boiled, and this is the chute. So after the grain's been cooked, there's this long arm that runs around in a circle, and all this grain comes spilling out.
So Katie, can you tell us more about the barrels we're looking at?
Yes, this is our latest project. It's super exciting. We're barrel aging some of our beers. These are whiskey barrels, and the beer that's in here right now is a 100% British porter, which is dark, kind of like a stout, but not as, I would say, not as bitter and not as heavy as a stout. I like porters a lot. And so what's going to happen is we're aging them in all 4 of these barrels, and then we'll blend them together, because no 2 barrels will age the beer the same.
Okay.
So they're going to have a nice peaty, smoky, possibly even slightly acidic quality at the end, but it's all kind of a surprise. We'll see what we get.
And how long do they age?
A few months. It kind of depends. We're constantly tasting them, and when they get to a point where we feel like it's where we want them to be, then we will move on to the blending part.
Okay, cool. So lots of variety here to
Totally.
taste. Hello, this is Summer. I'm coming to you from behind the bar at Art is an Ale, and it's so cool. It's a beautiful wood bar. Awesome menu written up on a chalkboard behind me, and I'm really wanting to test these. Katie, are we gonna tell me what we're gonna taste today?
So right now we're going to do our, this is an annual IPA. We make this IPA every year, but every year it's a little bit different. This year it's a juicy IPA, but it's always
Juicy.
called Contour. So this is Contour 2021.
Cool, okay.
So juicy IPA is also referred to as like a New England IPA. It's usually hazy. So you're going to see when I pour it out.
So I'm very excited to taste the beer, finally, but I would like to know, when in France, you must, when you do a chin, santé, look the person in the eye that you're doing that with. So is that true for beer too?
Yes, all drinks, I think.
All drinks?
We do it.
Yeah, you must. So, Katie, santé. And santé to you. Ah,
Yeah,
delicious. Very refreshing.
totally.
Thank you for joining us, and à bientôt. See you soon in Amboise at Art is an Ale.